With this EQS, Mercedes' most opulent EV, the Stuttgart brand has tried to redefine what the luxury limo of the future will look like. It goes further on a single charge than any electric vehicle has before and claims to be the most aerodynamic production road car yet made. The cabin is suitably futuristic, the drivetrains are potent, the technology is impressive, and of course the prices are high. Everything you'd expect, really, from a car that equally might be everything you wouldn't expect a large luxury boardroom conveyance to be.
Mercedes knows that one day soon the big petrol V8s and V12s, which characterise the luxury limo segment, will be consigned to museums, and the talking instead will be of battery rather than capacity size. So the EQS, from launch at least, assumed bragging rights in that respect, with the largest battery yet fitted to a European EV, one of 107.8 kilowatt hours in usable size and capable of up to 453 miles on a single charge in the standard 450 Plus model that we're trying here. Prodigious horsepower, or at least a prodigious use of it, will quickly drain that kind of range capability, and the EQS has that too. 333 horsepower in the standard 450 Plus and 658 horsepower if you opt for the alternative Mercedes-AMG 53 4MATIC Plus version. That latter model goes up to 358 miles between charges. Now, despite the 2.5-ton curb weight, those power outputs are enough to see the standard model wafting you to 62 miles an hour in just 6.2 seconds. Think just 3.8 seconds for the 53 Series AMG variant. Usually in high-performance EVs, those kinds of speeds are accompanied by so much wind and tyre roar that you forget you're in an electric vehicle at all. Not here, though. Virtually all of that has been ruthlessly eradicated at source, which makes the tsunami-style sense of speed which accompanies every flex of your right foot seem even more otherworldly. Too many flexes, of course, will see that driving range disappear very quickly, so you're going to have to make proactive use of the clever energy recuperation system. Now, this is manually selectable via these steering wheel paddles here in 3 stages, D+, D and D-, or select D Auto to do it all for you if you can't decide. The other piece of engineering which has really impressed us here is the exquisite quality of ride from the Airmatic Plus suspension. Predictive camera-based suspension tech is missing, but this car does nonetheless waft over speed humps and tarmac tears as if they just weren't there. It's probably our favourite thing about it. The pillowy ride doesn't mean a dynamic downside though, but there's little enjoyment to be had from throwing this car about, so it's just as well that very few owners will want to do that. Instead, they'll enjoy cutting-edge technology like the standard rear axle steering, which is able to turn the rear wheels by up to 10 degrees, which at parking speeds allows for an astonishing compact hatch-like 10.9 metre turning circle. Charging, of course, is straightforward. The EQS can use DC public chargers of up to 200 kilowatts in capacity, and if you can find one of those, you can fill the huge battery from 10% to full in just half an hour. It's a different story at home using a conventional 7.4 kilowatt charger. A couple of nights' sleep will be needed for a complete recharge there. This is a new era in Mercedes luxury design, so perhaps it's appropriate that there's nothing of the S-Class in the look of this EQS. For a start, like the next model down in the EQ lineup, the EQE, this is a 5-door hatch, although it also comes as an SUV. Either way, the visual drama on show here is very different from anything Mercedes customers in this sector will have previously been used to. From the side, the standard 3-box profile of a model in this category is completely absent, sacrificed in Mercedes' obsession to create the world's most aerodynamic motor car, achieved with a drag factor of just 0.20 CD. This so-called one-bow roofline is stretched over a coupe-like silhouette, featuring short overhangs and a cab-forward design with rake-back A-pillars. The front is arguably the most visually appealing element of this design, with plenty of overtaking presence, particularly in the case of the Mercedes-AMG 53 version, which gains the Affalterbach tuning division's characteristic Pan America grille panel. The rear feels least limo-like, but Mercedes has tried to give the flush tailgate some visual gravitas with raked back glass and a sharp spoiler lip. There's lots then to the exterior design, but the futuristic sense of style chosen here is undeniably divisive. Mercedes can afford for it to be so because eco-minded boardroom boyos always have the alternative of the more traditional looking S580e plug-in hybrid. That unfettered approach extends to an even greater extent inside, so let's take a look. This will almost certainly be the most futuristic cabin you'll have experienced. That's assuming the interior has been specified like this, with what Mercedes calls its MBUX hyperscreen draped like a wave over the entire width of the dashboard. Now, unless you've chosen a top Mercedes AMG 53 trim level or paid £8,000 more, it won't be, which would be less than ideal because the fascia has clearly been primarily designed for this three-dimensional structure, not for the conventional S-Class derived 12.8 and 12.3 inch centre and instrument screens that you get if you do without it. So dig deep and enjoy a feature unique in automotive construction to date. The hyperscreen name is misleading because this is actually a layout of 3 high-definition OLED monitors which merge into one another to create a screen band over 55.5 inches wide. The primary interface is this 17.7-inch central display, which then branches off to separate 12.3-inch displays each side for both driver and passenger. If you thought a Tesla was avant-garde inside, try one of these. Not everything's perfect. We have our reservations about some aspects of build quality and rear vision. That's certainly slightly compromised by the swoopy roofline. But the seats are superbly comfortable, and there are some high-tech touches like the interior assist gesture control system, active ambient lighting, and an energizing comfort setup which uses music, massage and colours to create soothing cabin themes. Time to take a seat in the back. Inside, of course, it's very nice indeed, and there's more legroom than you could possibly need. Most EQS models have this conventional 3-person rear bench format, but with the top spec version of the standard model or with the AMG 53 series version, you can pay extra for an optional rear luxury lounge package, which gets you 2 individual power adjustable rear seats with a massaging function, neck warmers and luxury head restraints. You do get an area feel with this standard layout, helped by this particularly low central transmission tunnel, something that on all EQS variants is helped by this standard 2-panel panoramic glass roof. Finally, let's take a look in the boot. It does feel odd raising a hatch on a limo, but of course, having a tailgate does make this Mercedes that bit more practical. The 610-litre luggage area revealed looks vast, and when everything is flat, there's 1,770 litres of space to play with. If you can make the range of this car work, then it really does deliver a next-generation take on what a luxury limousine should be. As long as you've paid extra for the futuristic hyperscreen, the cabin of this car, well, it feels like something out of Marvel Studios. That won't please the traditionalists who'll continue to be satisfied by an equivalent S-Class, but it might well attract the younger, the more zeitgeist-conscious top executives that Mercedes needs for future sales in this segment. Much more in this line, of course, will shortly follow. But this, for Mercedes-Benz, is really where the future starts. Tomorrow's world today, beginning right here.